Have you ever wanted to talk to somebody, but you just didn't feel like you had the confidence to approach them? Maybe you're hesitant to express yourself in a room full of people because you're scared of getting judged. Or maybe you hate speaking in front of a full class. Maybe like you're scared you'll make a fool of yourself. These issues can be caused by a lack of confidence. So how do you become confident so you don't deal with these issues? Well, things like changing your mindset can help, but there are things that you can do for yourself that will automatically increase your confidence. One thing is picking up a hobby. This hobby has to be something you're passionate about, something you love. And over time, as you get better at this hobby, you'll take pride in your work. If it's something you love, you're gonna want to make sure it turns out good. You're gonna take pride in that. This will result in a natural increase in confidence. If you're working on something you like and you like how it turns out. Another thing you can do is just to find your style. And it's not just clothes. It's one thing. Find your style with clothes, yes. But overall, like your aesthetic, what vibe do you want to give off? What vibe aligns with you? Just find yourself, really. And then after you find yourself, embrace your style, express yourself. Expressing yourself will result in increased confidence because it shows that you were comfortable in your own skin. This will require you to not care what others think, because when you're confident, you got to be okay with the fact that people will not agree with you. I'll get to that in a second. Another thing you can do is to take care of yourself. Skincare, hair care, what you eat, how much you exercise, which is really important, exercise. And this is just honestly self-care, which makes you confident because it's like improving certain qualities of yourself. You're taking your attributes and increasing them at the same time, making yourself look better. When you see yourself look better, you're gonna feel more confident. And self-care routines, they show you're loving yourself, which is a key for being confident. And finding things you're passionate about and expressing them brings inner joy. Why? Because you're expressing who you really are at the deepest level. The stuff that you like that you don't tell anybody about. And sometimes we cover up our inner self in fear of being judged by others, which I'll get to that in a second. And like being hesitant to talk about a show you like because you're scared like your friends won't like it. In middle school, I liked anime, and it wasn't really the coolest. Like at that time, people who watched anime were weird. So I didn't really mention to my friends that like I liked anime. I was scared that I would get judged. And I wasn't a confident person back in middle school. So when you're hesitant to talk about stuff that you like, about your true self, this leads to a questioning of yourself. When you're constantly stuffing yourself down in fear of judgment, it can lead to you beginning to question and maybe even change yourself to fit in. And over time, this can lead to resentment. Deep down, you know that like you're suppressing yourself, and that will start to show eventually, like in one way or another. To be confident, this is really important. Be confident. You have to forget about fitting in. People who don't fit in and aren't afraid to express themselves are people who draw other people to them the most, which I'll get to that in a second too. So how do you overcome fear of judgment? Well, this requires a change in mindset. You have to rewire the way you think. You have to realize that there are many different people and I have many different perspectives. Trying to cater to everyone's opinions and views, that's just not possible. You're gonna wear yourself out doing that. So what you need to do is you have to accept and expect that some people won't agree with or like how you express yourself. This is big, especially if you want to embrace your own style. Style is subjective. People have their own opinions. So when you're wearing your style, you got to be okay with the fact that people might not like your style. They might make fun of your style. But you know what? If you feel good in it and you like it, that's your style. Wear it confident. If it's not hurting anyone or anything, then there's no reason to care what anyone else thinks. The next step to bringing up your confidence is to love yourself. And loving yourself comes in a lot of different ways. One, you gotta take care of your external body, which is skincare, hair care, how you smell, like overall hygiene. And then after that, you got to take care of your internal body. What food are you putting in your body? What drinks are you putting in your body? If you're doing drugs, you got to be aware of what you're putting in your body. Another thing is you got to learn how to take care of your mental health, which means you got to learn how to manage your stress. Another thing that helps is trying to think positive in every situation, especially the negative ones. Find a good side to every little inconvenience in life. It's good practice. Let's say you open your pantry and your favorite your cookies are gone. Someone ate all your cookies. Try to look on the bright side, at least that's less calories for you. You probably not eat as much cookies anyways, if you're trying to raise your confidence. Also, another thing, don't talk down to yourself. First, you gotta accept that you have improving to do and take pride in knowing that you're taking the steps to improve, and never settle. Nobody's perfect. Nobody will ever be perfect. So there should be no reason to stop trying to improve yourself. And watching this video itself means that you care about improving yourself. Like, this is like the first step to improving yourself. You gotta learn how to improve yourself. So, pat yourself on the back. You care. You care. It shows that you care. And most importantly, getting any kind of exercise is very good for confidence. It's a form of self-care. Exercise is a form of self-care. You're doing something that will make you healthier. And it gets you in shape. The more you exercise, probably the more you'll look better, and you'll begin to feel better about yourself, which will raise your confidence. Loving yourself is crucial to being confident. They go hand in hand. You can't love yourself and not be confident. You can't be confident and not love yourself. I remember when I said people who don't fit in and are afraid to express themselves are the ones that draw other people to them the most. This is because people are naturally drawn to people who are completely comfortable with who they are as a person. They could also become envious or inspired. It causes people to want to be around you, or they become jealous and resent you. This is where overcoming the fear of being judged is vital. Sometimes when people see other people doing good, they become so overcome with jealousy that they begin to hate on you. And you will have to accept that this is more their problem than yours. It's not your responsibility to try to serve people by making them like you. If you have to try that hard to get people to like you, then it's probably people that you shouldn't care if they like you or not in the first place. And whenever you start truly expressing yourself, whenever you start truly being yourself in public, people who you do want to be your friends will come to you naturally. And if people are jealous and start preying on your downfall, this is solely their problem, because they are letting another person's success disrupt their inner peace so much that they begin to harbor feelings of resentment towards you. Think about that. How could that be anybody else's problem? How could that ever be your problem? This goes to a lot of people pleasers out there, especially. If people really are bothered by your success, this shows discontentment with themselves. If you see someone who's clearly if you see somebody, I don't know if discontentment is a word or not, but I just made it up because it sounds right. If you see somebody who's clearly insecure with themselves and they're not content with who they are as a person, do you blame yourself? No. So why should you care if they start being jealous of you? It stems from them not being content with themselves. So if you follow these steps, confidence and self-love will come on its own. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. You gotta stick to it. So you gotta stay persistent. This is key. Stay persistent by making sure to acknowledge your progress. When you're taking steps, be sure to look back at the steps you've taken and look at what you've achieved on the journey so far. You can take pride in your improvement. This in itself will turn into motivation. When you're taking pride of the progress you're making, it'll start to snowball. Like you'll be like, okay, this looks good. If I keep on going, it's gonna look better. It's gonna look better. It's gonna look better. But you can't be stagnant though. You can't just be like, okay, it looks good. It looks good. Okay, this is good enough. I'm gonna stop. You're already on the track to being the best you can be. Why would you settle for good enough when you already know you can stick to a routine or stick to a plan and really dedicate yourself to bettering yourself? Why would you stop bettering yourself if bettering yourself so far has made you feel the best that you've ever felt? And it should make you feel the best you've ever felt. If you're really taking care of yourself, especially your mental health, your confidence will start to come on its own. I'm willing to admit I'm wrong, but I have never ever heard of somebody that really tries to better themselves end out turning worse and loving themselves less. I've never heard of that happening. Whoever needs to hear this, I believe in you, bro. I was literally you, down bad, had low self-confidence, I'm here to show you that I'm living proof. My confidence, it's raised, Obviously I have work to do. I'm not content with where I'm at now. I know I can do better. I'm also proud of the progress I've made so far. I'm living proof that it's possible. I had the lowest opinion of myself that probably anybody could have. And I got a lot of improving to do, like I said, but I have peace. I take peace in knowing that I'm doing what I can right now to improve. I know I can say that, okay, I've put the work in to improve. So you just can't be too hard on yourself. So good luck, bro. Peace out.